This is my second video here, so I will kindly remind you of who I am because I'm still very new here. Type design, lettering, and graphic design are my main activities, passions, jobs, loves, and so on. The first time I met with typography terminology was 10 plus years ago, and I'm still in it, so you can say that it's well rooted in my life as an artist. How did it happen? I saw some records and presentations from Typo Berlin conference, and it opened a brand new world before my eyes. When I started, Instagram was still quite new, and it took me some time to learn ropes of it. It's a huge pity because I missed the entire type revolution. At least this is how I perceive the moment when people gained this possibility of sharing images so easily. Of course, there was Facebook and other platforms, but they weren't so much about pictures. When I explored profiles of all typography stars, it turned around my entire way of thinking about type. It is amazing that we can connect and admire other people's work so easily nowadays. We can see what kind of work people look for and what you could potentially be hired for. It encouraged me to dive into it deeper. Finding other nerds like me filled me with purpose. I noticed I'm not the only one freak in the world who loves weird letters. Just check 36 Days of Type challenge to see how many of us are there. It was amazing to see how it develops. I'm of the generation that still remembers world without this image flow and quite limited access to resources, so I appreciated double. Now we have so many online courses and such an easy access to education. It is crazy to think how new and fresh this possibility is. Not to mention that we can just follow people and admire and be inspired even while we are waiting in line at shop. It's easy to be flooded by art if one is actively searching. Everything is changing so quickly. Nowadays, it's definitely harder to find the right information than to find any tips. When I first discovered the term type design, I had not the smallest idea how people make these perfect shapes. All I specialized was book design and illustration I was making at the time as my school subjects. Fonts I made at the beginning were simply terrible. I admit that with no shame. It was great that I made them. I explored something and went through entire process of publishing type. I had base to learn some technical stuff and open an account on my fonts, which I have to this day. I simply felt like a type designer. In the end, I was working on type. I took it more seriously thanks to this and had some point from which I could only get better. Furthermore, I honestly think that making huge mistakes at the beginning of the journey is healthy. It encourages me further exploration and it's also very releasing. Believe me, setting bar too high may be a serious problem. It may block your work totally. Of course, I don't suggest that your first work must be a crap. I just think you should allow yourself to make a crap and slowly grow from it, one step at a time. From my perspective, it is better to take any action than to overthink it for too long. I think it's a healthy habit to create more work, No one is in your head and no one can see these beautiful ideas that you have in there. It's actually something I wish I heard at the beginning of my journey. Maybe there would be so much more typeface in my library and I would be $1 million seller. Who knows, right? Right. So take it as a sign from me, create and eventually look for some help from more advanced pairs to make sure that you are getting better. It took me a lot of time at the beginning to figure out how to create my own shapes. Some of my first fonts were simply terrible, as I mentioned, but I don't feel ashamed of them. I know there are so many success stories out there, and it's very easy to think, to start thinking that everybody else is star above and they haven't put any effort to be where they are, but this is simply untrue. Most successful people put in a lot of effort and a lot of dedication in order to be where they are. So instead of overthinking what you could do, just do whatever. It is also sort of reminder to myself to spend at least some time on creating every day. You would be surprised what result you can achieve by taking small steps. I know that it may seem overwhelming at the beginning, but the more you do, the easier it gets. I currently think that it's super hard to pick one topic and stay focused for longer. There are so many stimulants out there, and all the stuff is really cool to do or learn. But it is always better to be a very good lettering artist than a beginning carpenter, illustrator, embroiderer, and so on. I mean, of course, it's good to try different things, but staying devoted to one topic and starting to grow from there is the best solution. I'm saying this not only as a creator, but also as a market observer. Do one thing and invest in business skills ASAP. Eventually, you could try many things, but only around this one field. A less conventional point of view always draws attention. Embodied letters, cookie letters, whatever looks unique and memorable could also be a great idea. In the field of letters, you can explore so much. Here are my 3 ideas that could offer you some base. Look around. Maybe there are some cool letters already in your surroundings and try to make them in your art. Find calligraphy lessons and attend regularly. Just consume letter-related content like crazy for 2 or 3 days and draw something for fun. For me, a good solution to reduce white paper stress was drawing while watching some not that great movie series. What white paper stress is when you feel overwhelmed by an empty page. And it's hard to start because you feel pressure. I added below link to a free practice worksheet. I made a grid I used while playing with shapes. It is my starter pack that helped me a lot. I also added small instructions with explanation how to use it. As a final tip for this video, I also want to mention one situation. During one of my Instagram posts, I was asked this one question: how do I know if my font is ready to be published? First of all, test. Make a lot of tests. There are a lot of font text proof examples, or you can Google the kerning test. I also added links to my favorite ones below. Another great way to check is to play with your font. Making a lot of graphics with marketing materials in mind will help you to find potential errors. In case of design, you can ask others for their opinion or just simply publish it and put it up for sale, and that way ask the market. Worst case scenario, you won't earn money, but you will learn. I think that nowadays sometimes very simple font ideas win on the market and earn money. Example from my life, I upload this year to Creative Market my fun illustrative font I made 10 years ago, and I made a few sales lately. Now I'm asking myself how much money I could earn if I would upload it to the Creative Market earlier. Learning to market your products is simply must. TikTok, Behance, Instagram, YouTube. Check what fits you best and post it whenever you can. Worst case scenario, you will receive a lot of tips, and I guess people will give you one only if they respect your work, but this is something you could do better. Second worst scenario is to be ignored, but I guess it's not that painful. And of course, in best scenario, you can earn a lot of money, respects, awards, clients. Yep, every new work is a possibility, so it is worth to use it well. Thank you for listening my video till the end. If you have any question, don't hesitate to ask me in comments. I'm happy to help. Also follow me on Instagram or sign up for my newsletter if you want to stay in touch. See you next time.